Browns 0-8 at home. Just sad.
I haven't heard you this down since Dr. Brown got fired. It's a game that we were in, and it's a game that we just don't finish.
I don't want to watch anymore.
Why? Why does that happen? I'm so sick of watching those plays.
0-16.
I definitely do not want to watch this all 22.
That's up and down to me. That looks like dysfunction. Welcome back, Survivors, episode 51, season 3. This is Surviving the Season live from the Baywater Studios in Tampa, Florida. I am Adam, and Greg is here.
Yo, welcome back.
Welcome back. For the Year in Review show, 2018, we're going to run all the way through it. It's going to be awesome.
This is my favorite show of the year.
Trip down memory lane.
It would be nice if we were doing this after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right? That's a good point.
After we win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we should still be playing. Fuck. You want to hit on this coaching search before we dig in, or?
If you want, yeah.
Sounds like the Browns have interviewed about 4.
I don't even know who all they've interviewed, to be honest.
It's Greg, the defensive coordinator from Indianapolis, Eberflus. Arians came in, I think.
Who came in?
Arians? Did Arians?
Did he?
Shit. Now I got to bring it up.
I don't even know.
I thought you were paying attention.
No. I don't care who they hire at this point. Like, you got to keep Freddie somehow. That's the only thing. One thing I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
Keep Freddie Kitchens.
Matt Eberflus. He was yesterday, Sunday. Brian Flores, Patriots linebacker coach. Dan Campbell, tight ends assistant head coach with the Saints.
Yep. Now I recall all these.
Kevin Stefanski from Minnesota.
Okay. That's the guy that took over for Flip as the offensive coordinator.
Jim Caldwell of the Lions organization.
Not a lot of excitement going on here.
And Greg Williams. That is all. Arians is not on that list. I'm sorry.
Okay. Corey, that follows us on Twitter, he sent me a good little article about Eberflus, and I will retweet that in case anybody wants to take a look at that. I thought it was pretty interesting read just about how he went and sort of changed his defense up a little bit to fit the players he had working with and got rid of the players that definitely don't fit. Just sort of his background of where he came from. Decent little read. He seems to be a really good defensive mind. And then when you're reading that, you go, okay, they get a guy like this. Maybe they can talk to Freddie Kitchens into staying, or maybe Freddie. This guy's a defensive coordinator in Indianapolis, so it's not like he's going to go to Cleveland for the same exact job. So you're not moving jobs unless you're getting some kind of a pay raise or some type of title.
Yeah.
That you didn't have before.
Browns have not given permission to the other teams to interview Kitchens. I guess there has been some interest there. They've denied letting him go look. So
they have to be trying to keep him. Yeah. There's no way that they're not at this point. Why wouldn't you? The offense just got significantly better since he took over. And when he was obviously working well with Baker, made the wide receivers look better. It just made, it's just plain to see the offense got better because he ran things that work. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to change that? So if it's not broken, don't try to fix it. And this is the case. Like, you got to try to keep the guy on. Now, the difference is, okay, does that make him head coach material? Because a lot of it is, well, you're a good coordinator. What's the next step is head coach. But does being a good coordinator, it doesn't really have much to do with the day in, day out work that you're going to do as head coach. Yes, if you're going to be running the defense, you're going to be running the offense. You're still going to have those same influences there that you're going to put into the team. But at the same time, there's a whole nother aspect that you're taking on. You're taking on the day-to-day, just scheduling. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to practice.
Yeah.
This is the kind of players that I want on my team. This is the kind of leader I'm going to be. This is game day decisions. And then you get into the game. This is my clock management. What if, like, I'm looking at some of these guys, they've never been a head coach at any level. And then they're going to come in and, are they going to be behind the 8 ball on when to call timeouts properly? When, just basic things like that. They've never done it. So how do you know? Or do they know how to manage a clock properly?
Yeah, you're kind of throwing them into the fire first time. Yeah, that's a lot of new stuff. There's a lot of responsibility that isn't just calling plays and scheming up offense for the week.
How are they going to handle guys getting penalties? How are they going to handle guys showing up late to meetings? How are they going to handle just the day in, day out activities that you don't typically even have to think about? You're a coordinator. You're just thinking about, all right, what plays are going to work against this defense? Yeah. You don't have to worry about that little stuff. So then there's more stuff that comes into this with the head coach. How do you know? Like, you just don't know. That's where they go, would a retread be okay? I guess if they proved it, like a Mike McCarthy, well, he's done it there long enough. He has plenty of experience. We don't really have to worry about that. But then you can even sit there and complain about his time management at times, So just from where we sit, it's just so hard to know what is a good head coach candidate.
Yeah, we don't get all the information.
And if I bring a guy in for an interview, I'm playing 50 games of Madden with him. That's part of it. I want to see how he runs that clock.
All right. You want to go through it?
So where are you at with Freddie Kitchens as head coach?
I mean, yeah, go for it. If you think you're going to lose him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's the way I am with this coach search right now. Like, what do you think of this guy? Yeah, sure.
Right. I just don't know.
Name a guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I can get on board with that. I can talk myself into that, and I'm not going to have it's going to take me going to the practices. It's going to take me watching the preseason games, how they call it. How once you get into the regular season, you got to see the way the guy is he going to start Hugh Jacksoning and throwing people straight under the bus immediately when things go. Right. There's a lot going on there.
It's hard to say like who you would like, but you're right. The offense was flowing under Kitchens, so you kind of want to keep him. And if you're not going to be able to keep him, as a coordinator, I don't know if that's something that you want to do.
When you have momentum,
it's risky.
That's sort of the way I look at it. They had momentum going. There was a thing building. It was working. I don't see any reason for it not to work. To me, he's scheming things against the defense. Like, that's what you want. So you found your guy as an offensive coordinator. If he's just a good leader, if he's any kind of a good leader in the clubhouse, then I don't see how he wouldn't be. And he seems to be, from everything that we've heard him talking about Baker. I mean, when you go back and you listen to his interviews where he's talking about 100% I'm behind Baker, that sort of thing, that's all the guys want. That's all they want.
True.
They'll be held accountable. If they mess up on the field, he's going to hold them accountable. Like he's already talked about that. The reason why these things work is because they execute. And if they don't, they don't work. And he knows that. He's holding those guys accountable for that kind of stuff. What more do you need? I'm backing you 100%. I'm here with you. We're team. You're part of this team, and therefore you're my guy 100%. And I'm always going to back you. Just do your job, basically. My guy. Right? Isn't that what I was saying?
Yeah, my guy. I don't know. Yeah. I could see Dorsey going with if he goes with Kitchens. Isn't it sort of like consolidating power? Whereas if you go with somebody like McCarthy, McCarthy might want a little bit more responsibility in the organization.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I'm completely. I just washed my hands of this coach search. Do what you must. Get it right. Did you see now though with the coach search? Like, did you see basically everybody's involved in this thing? They got our analytics team in there and everything.
Yeah, DePodesta's in there. Barry.
Yep.
Haslam, unfortunately. I don't know why he should be nowhere around that, but I get it. Maybe he's just definitely sitting in. Hopefully, he's not
signing the
anything.
Checks should not be involved.
No,
okay.
No. He's the worst at it. Obviously, I don't trust anything he does.
Let's get into this.
All right.
Year in review, 2018.
Yeah. New Year's Eve, 2017. The Browns lost to the Steelers 24-28 to complete the perfect season, 0-16. Remember the Coleman drop. Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, do we ever? And thank you for doing that. Thank you, Hugh, for your 1-31 that led us to Baker Mayfield. Everybody, thank you collectively.
Right.
Thank you, Hugh.
Thanks, Hugh. You were great. I hope you get hired by the Bengals. Who he did interview for. I believe I think somebody else interviewed him for something. Shit, I can't remember who it was, but that's hilarious.
Vikings.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Dorsey started off the year bringing in some coaches, bringing in some personnel. January 10th, Elliott Wolf is named assistant GM. Alonzo Highsmith named vice president of player personnel. Big day there for the front office.
Bringing in my guys.
Yep. They're all from the Green Bay organization where Dorsey knows them from. January 12th, I think, underrated signing here or hire, Adam Henry as a wide receivers coach was hired.
Yeah. I mean, it took one Hard Knocks episode to go, oh, okay, this guy looks like a good coach. Remember, we sort of picked out Adam Henry. We liked Freddie Kitchens. Those were the guys we talked about during Hard Knocks as the coaches that we liked.
It was
and
funny.
Guess what?
Now you think about it, yeah.
It's not that hard. See, if we can just do that sitting behind a TV set watching and Jimmy Haslam can't figure out how to pick a coach. He gets to meet these guys right in front of their face, ask them the questions that he wants to ask. No, what do? We sit on our couches and go, oh, I like that guy. Sign him up.
Yeah,
Adam Henry, Freddie Kitchens, put him on our team.
Please send us the tape of the interview, and then we'll choose the coach. Ken Zampese was also brought in that day as quarterback coach. He was kind of like quietly behind the sit. Like he didn't talk much the whole year. You know, I mean, he's just quarterback coach, but didn't really hear much out of him.
No,
he's a few guy. Right?
I guess if you go by what happened on the field, and if you grade a coach by the way the position played, that's why you go. Adam Henry got the most out of his wide receivers. Baker Mayfield is probably going to be rookie of the year and the greatest rookie in the history of the game. Can I say that? Can we go with that? The greatest rookie to ever play in the NFL. Ken Zampese was his coach. He can put that on his resume.
January 20th, East-West Shrine game. Chad Thomas getting his first.
He played in that?
He did, yep.
That's where all the bums play.
Yeah. He got his first look there. Didn't do much this year. January 23rd to 27 was the Senior Bowl. Remember, a lot of times they do hire the two teams that finish with the worst record. Their coaches are generally invited to the Senior Bowl to coach one of the teams, provided you don't fire everybody. And somehow the Browns did not get invited to coach that, or they turned it down. I don't know if we ever got the full story.
No, we didn't. Remember the Browns said, well, what was their aim? Oh, they were trying to search for a staff, right?
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Because I fired all, but he was basically like, well, I've fired everybody at least once. Every position coach has been fired at least once on my staff. We have to go search for more. So we're doing a search party. It absolutely had nothing to do with the Senior Bowl not wanting us back. I forgot that even happened.
Yeah.
I forgot that even. Now that is hilarious because that was one of those, like, he was so bad that the Senior Bowl has decided not to invite him back.
Yeah, if you remember some of the people that we talked to, like in Twitter and run around with in Brown circles that went to the Senior Bowl, said the 2017 Senior Bowl was just a disaster with Hugh's team. So
think about this. So if Hugh doesn't get brought back by the Bengals, he's been fired from 3 jobs this year. Senior Bowl coach, Browns coach, Bengals coach. Now that has to be a record.
Yeah, as the Senior Bowl was going on, the January 24th, Todd Haley was announced as the offensive coordinator. Amos Jones comes in as special teams coordinator, and Mr. Freddie motherfucking Kitchens hired as running backs and assistant head coach.
Well, you hit some, and you miss some. You should go back to the Amos, play the horn.
And Haley too, probably. What a disaster! I think Haley
and I actually was like, "All right, this is good." I don't know how Haley's going to be. Like, he seemed okay in Pittsburgh, and then the more I kept reading about him, the worse everything was.
I think this didn't work out with Hugh either, which that just dynamic was terrible from the beginning.
The Hugh dynamic with anybody is terrible. We've seen that. He's fired everybody on his staff. Everyone.
Baker Mayfield, Austin Corbett, and Desmond Harrison played in the Senior Bowl. They were attendees. Now we move like a month goes by. Franchise tag day was February 20th. Browns did not tag a player for the 6th consecutive year. Jarvis Landry did get tagged on that day. He'll be traded to the Browns in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, I wasn't right then, but they kind of thought something was in the works. Not with the Browns necessarily.
Yeah,
we did that. Remember that was we'll get there in 3 weeks because it was sort of like, oh, boom, 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 trade, and people were like, they're doing stuff. They're doing stuff. Let's go, baby.
February 27 through March 5, the scouting combine underway. We got to get our first looks at all the rookies we were bringing in. Got to measure them up.
Josh Allen throw that ball 90 yards.
Awesome.
Holy cow.
March 14, the official league year begins. Joe Thomas retires. 10,363 snaps, retires on the first day of the league year.
Man, we couldn't get one more year out of him. It's too bad. Could have used him. Could have had him.
Yeah, could have had him. Could have been a different year. Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of trades that day. Landry is traded for a 4th and a 7th. 4th this year, 7th next. Tyrod Taylor, he comes in for the 65th pick overall. I believe that's the first pick in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I saw something today about how compensatory picks could work for the guys that are going to be free agents. And somebody's like, see, that's why they did it. They're going to give them a compensatory pick. No, listen, guys, if we go and sign players at a ton of money, and because you lose a guy, you don't get a compensatory, like you lose the chance to get that compensatory pick. You only get compensatory picks if you aren't signing people. If you think the Browns are going to go through this offseason without signing people, you're sadly like, this is the year. This is the 1 year where the Browns are going to go and like pick up some big name guys. Like, is Grady Jarrett going to get paid by Atlanta? Probably. But let's say he doesn't. Like, will they spend a boatload of money to get him, to bring him in? They probably would. Would they do the same thing with the kid from Tampa? What's his name down there that I'm completely forgetting about? The defensive tackle who's not good. They're not going to pick up his deal this year. They probably will. Like, there's going to be some big, if big names make it to the market, are interested in being the Browns are definitely going to spend big money on making to shore up holes, because they know they are in this playoff run next year. They know they are in championship mode. We have a quarterback who's really goddamn good on a rookie contract. They are going to spend money to make sure that every single hole is filled, no matter what. It's going to happen. So there's not going to be compensatory picks for the Cleveland Browns for the next couple of years. So that's not what was happening with that.
Yeah. Just because somebody gets signed away in free agency doesn't guarantee compensation.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to get a good contract, right? Chances are, if he doesn't stay here, somebody's going to want to try and make him a starter for a year or two or whatever. Now, it would be nice if the Browns could keep him at a high paid backup quarterback, salary would be. That would be good. It would be good, because otherwise we're going to have to go out and actually find one. Yeah, I'm not relying on Drew Stanton as my backup quarterback. It's just not happening.
Yeah, agreed. Also on that day, Demarius Randall traded for Deshaun Kaiser, and then a pick swap, 4th and 5th round picks.
And now again, so this is the other thing. They go, can you believe that the Browns got Demarius Randall for Kaiser? Well, you have to remember, again, now, there is a contract that's coming up for Randall, and somebody's going to have to pay him. The Packers were not going to pay him. Therefore, they go, we'll trade away this guy for lesser value than what we typically might get, in hopes of getting a draft pick plus a player that we think, could be a long-term solution or whatever, or a guy, that's what, it's not a straight up deal. It's one guy's going to get paid. The other guy's on a rookie contract.
Right.
Got to remember that.
Yeah, they also picked up 14 spots in the 4th and 12 spots in the 5th. So that's not that big of a deal.
No. No. It was, it's mostly about, are we going to re-sign this guy? Are we going to have the money to re-sign it? Packers said, no. What can we get for him then? That's what it comes down to. It was that was probably the best move that the Browns made in the offseason, though.
Yeah.
When you look back from a player aspect, he did more than any other guy that we got in that free agency.
Yeah, Danny Shelton and a 5th round pick this year, sent to New England for a 2019 3rd round pick.
Yeah, and again, that was sort of like, well, you gave him up for peanuts, but we know Danny Shelton didn't fit what we're trying to do defensively. New England plays a 3-4, odd front, and that's more where he fits. And then he goes over there and he doesn't play, and then you know how that whole story went.
Yeah,
but Danny Shelton just is not in the right era.
Exactly. That day also, we tendered Meter on his restricted free agent deal, and Josh Gordon got his qualified offer as an exclusive rights free agent. Big day. Also,
Josh Gordon.
The 15th is a big.
Whenever we said, who's the MVP? We were picking MVP. What's your MVP? Well, it's Josh Gordon. If he play, that's what it is. He's the best player on our team. If he can play.
He plays, yeah.
Here we go. I'm so glad to we've washed our hands of that. Thank God.
March 15, we signed 6 dudes. Carlos Hyde, Chris Hubbard, TJ Carey, Darren Fells, Terrence Mitchell, and Chris Smith.
Okay, so remember when this happened, we said, this is decent. We didn't try to hit home runs here. I think we said you hit a double. You got on base. You can start moving guys in the scoring position. This is not a home run, though. None of these moves were like signing Aaron Donald or anything like that. That's what we were saying. Some people were even mad about that. Like, can you believe they are not just ecstatic about these signings?
Right.
But you look at the list now, and it's good players. But let's say, there's pretty much you could trade those guys out for a lot of different players in the league.
Yeah.
I think Chris Hubbard started off bad. I thought he got a lot better in the second half. Now, I think part of that is what Freddie Kitchens did to help the line. What Baker Mayfield getting the ball out of his hands does to help the line. That really helped him out. But he played a lot better in the second half of the season than what he did in the first half. TJ Carey played better when he's in the slot than when he's forced to be on the outside. And if TJ Carey is your nickel corner, he's physical, he's tough. I think that's another nice signing. I don't know what his money looks like coming up. We'll do a roster breakdown show, I'm sure. I'm not sure how bad his money is, but I imagine that they would keep him. Yes. Do they have an out even on him?
I think. Yeah, they have an out.
Okay. I don't see why you wouldn't keep him. And then the same thing with Mitchell. Now, Mitchell is no lockdown corner. Like, you can do better. If they go into the draft and a guy falls to them that is a lockdown corner, I go, okay, and that's there might not be anybody else of a position of need for you that is on that guy's same level, then you just do it. You're not going, Money Mitch is my long-term solution at cornerback. He's here for what, 1 more year? He had a 2-year deal?
3-year deal.
Yeah. So fairly again, cheap. Like, solid player, but is it any different than 70% of the rest of the league? Like, there's a lot of those guys out there that are in that same book. Like, even if you would have kept Jason McCourty, were you seeing a difference between Jason McCourty and Money Mitch? Like, it's pretty similar in what you're going to get in from a output from him. Who else do we have on that list? Chris Smith, backup guy. So you give up, you basically walk away from Carl Nassib and get Chris Smith. I guess that, to me, if anything, that's a fair swap. I guess. Why you would give up on a guy that you already had as an asset to pay another guy is beyond me. But it doesn't matter. Like, either way, you lose Carl Nassib or you lose Chris Smith, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect your team that much. It's not either one of those guys would have did a nice job in that role.
Yeah, and Darren Fells was a nice veteran tight end.
Yeah, Darren Fells was quietly one of the best signings, and that's the perfect kind of signing that you make an extra tight end, a blocking tight end. You get a good price on him. He's older in age. This is a good tight end draft coming up. Do they go and start to replace him? But the problem is you're not going to typically be able to find a guy out of college that can block right away. So maybe you bring in a 4th tight end and he stays another year. I don't know what his contract's looking like. I thought it was a 3-year deal.
Yeah, and it's not for much either.
Yeah.
I'd bring up my roster, but then I'm afraid it'll mess up.
No problem.
It'll mess up
and then, so who else are we missing? That was it, right?
Carlos Hyde, if you want to talk about him.
Carlos Hyde. I mean, he's exactly what we thought he was going to be. Is he better than Isaiah Crowell? No. He's exactly the same thing, basically. I mean, a different style of runner, but he's just a mediocre at best talent. The fact that John Dorsey has to trade the guy because Hugh Jackson cannot see who the best talent on his team is just unbelievable to me. That this guy's coaching in the National Football League can't tell that Nick Chubb is a better running back than Carlos Hyde. But again, you didn't hit you brought in a guy you needed to fill a roster spot because you're not going to go with just Duke. Isaiah Crowell was out of here. You can't just bring in Duke and then an unknown rookie and not know for sure what you have there. And then they find out Nick Chubb's going to get the job done. They go ahead and trade away Carlos Hyde. The fact that they actually got something for Carlos Hyde in a 5th round pick is just good enough. Like that's job, well done. Just in that aspect of it, you made up for what is not really that good of a signing.
Yeah.
But that's what he was doing. So now think about what John Dorsey was doing with those picks. It was filling major needs with a bunch of names rather than big names. He's going to bring in a number of guys. Hopefully he hits. The other guy we didn't talk about is EJ Gaines. Now, I believe he only had a 1-year deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if he only had I doubt he'll be back because of his injuries this year. You keep Ward, you keep Money Mitch, you keep TJ Carey, and you're sort of set there. You still have BBC, and don't be surprised if they hit up another cornerback in this draft.
Yeah. Jason McCourty, we're still talking about March 15th. Jason McCourty was traded to the New England Patriots. Browns moved up 14 spots from the...
Yeah, and do you remember I sort of talked about this one other time. Remember at the end of the season where Jason McCourty was upset about the comments John Dorsey made, where he brought up, we don't have real football players. And McCourty came out and said, hey, I take I take that to heart, and the players here do, because we come in, we bust our ass. And, and he just voiced his displeasure. Next thing you know, he's out of town.
Another interesting thing that happened on that day, as Hugh and Dorsey were giving their press conference, answering questions about the trades and the free agents, Tyrod Taylor was named the starter.
Name the star. We won't even, no open competition. Tyrod is our starter. I won't name a backup quarterback until the week before the season starts. So I'm going to name my starting quarterback Tyrod before the season before the actual league year starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was funny.
Congratulations, Tyrod.
Yeah.
He earned it.
That's funny. A week later, March 23, EJ Gaines was signed. You just talked about him. 2 days later, Drew Stanton, Tank Carter.
Coach Stanton.
Stanton.
I think that's what we should call him.
March 28th, my boy Kessler was traded to Jacksonville for a 7th round pick.
I think Kessler's probably about done.
Yeah.
to the glue factory with him.
Look good. That brought us into draft month. April 3rd, Baker is in for his pre-draft visit. April 6th, Kevin Hogan traded to Washington Redskins.
Oh, I forgot. What?
That emptied out.
Did he get hurt? He must have got hurt because he didn't do anything for the Redskins. And they had injuries. He should have had an opportunity. He either got cut or he got hurt.
Yeah, I don't know actually what happened to him.
Who cares?
Yep. The point just being they took the 2017 quarterback room and got rid of them all. 3 weeks into the season.
0 wins. You got a quarterback room with 0 wins. That's what everybody would always say. They still have 0 wins.
April 13th, Landry gets his extension. April 16th, the Browns report for their first workouts. That brings us to the draft.
Ah, yes.
Draft day 1 and our live draft show. So fun. April 26th, Mayfield is pick 1, round 1.
With the first pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Baker Mayfield.
Wow.
Quarterback, Oklahoma.
It is Baker Mayfield.
How shocked were you? Do you recall?
I remember being excited about it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because it was the one I wanted him to call. I think I was relieved that it wasn't Allen. And I don't know why I even would have thought it was going to be Allen. It was just so many reports around that time.
Well, if you recall, they said it's either Mayfield or Allen, and I don't think there could be two different like those are the like antithesis of one another. Like I don't know. I was shocked when they said that, but and I still didn't believe it. I don't believe that it's Mayfield. I just don't believe these reports that have come out hours before. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because this is what we've wanted, and Browns fans don't typically get what they want.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be Darnold. If it was Darnold, I would have been okay with it. But obviously, we wanted Mayfield the whole time.
That's what
we got Mayfield, and then after that, I was like, I can't believe this is real. I felt like a kid on Christmas morning.
Yeah, if it was Darnold, fine. Like I think we would have had more rebuild to do. You know?
Yeah, that's what we talked about. You get Mayfield, he's ready to play now. Yeah. Not in Hughes' eyes, but in anybody with a brain's eyes, he was ready to play. If you go with Darnold, you're going to have a year of crap play again. Like Darnold is going to get better. He's going to progress. I think he's like 21 years. He might not even be 22 yet. He might be.
Yeah.
So he's just behind the ball a little bit, and he needs a little bit more experience. But I would think Darnold's going to be a good quarterback. I thought that all along the process. But the difference is Mayfield is ready to play, and was sort of like a knock again. Oh, how much better is Mayfield going to get? Like, what's the downside of Mayfield? That's what I never understood. Like, he's already better than half the quarterbacks in the league as a senior in college.
Right. Pick 4, Denzel Ward. Pick 4, round 1.
That was a shocker, if you recall. Now, I was hoping for a trade back, which many Browns fans' heads would explode because they are anti-trade back. Speaking of that. I have my What Would Sashi Do t-shirt on, and he would have traded back.
Yeah, probably would have.
He would have traded, and you would have got another first for this year. I was looking. I wanted, if you recall, Derwin James was my guy. I would have traded back. You could have traded back to 12 or whatever. Got James, but when you look back in retrospect and look at what Ward did this year, you're you got to be completely blown away by how good he was. Now, the problem that we sort of had is how small he is. You worry about this guy's size. Is he going to be able to hold up? And that is going to be the question. That's the biggest question, man, going in next year. If he gets a concussion early, next year, they're probably going to sit him down. That would be his third concussion in 2 years. Like, things could get really dicey for this guy. And that's another reason why, if there's a corner there that you absolutely are in love with, I have no problem with you taking that guy.
Agreed. First pick of the second round, Austin Corbett, number 33 overall.
Yeah. Didn't get much play, but that was one of those things for the future. See if he can be a left tackle. If he doesn't, let's see what he can do down the line. I think even John Dorsey was shocked at how good the middle of the interior line played this year.
Yeah,
I mean, J.C. Tretter on one leg
was awesome.
Probably had his best season.
Good. Again, probably have something to do with the scheme as well.
Are you chewing gum as we're recording audio?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. Pick number 35, Nick Chubb.
Yeah, Nick Chubb blew it out of the water. I'm looking at it right here. 192 attempts, 996 yards, 8 touchdowns, 5.2 yards per carry. That is compared to veteran Carlos Hyde, 3.4 yards per carry. I think that one is a success.
That takes us back to round 3, 67th overall, Chad Thomas, defensive end out of Miami.
We can skip this one.
Day 3, April 28th, 105 overall, Antonio Callaway in the 4th round.
Yeah, Antonio Callaway project, going to do big things if he keeps his head on right, man. Most talented wide receiver we have on this roster. If he keeps his priorities in line.
Really awesome second half too. I think Callaway got better, and we can expect him to get better next year, and then round out, like what you saw Higgins kind of go through as he went into his third year.
Oh, without a doubt. And here's the thing: Baker Mayfield makes people better.
True.
Now we need receivers that are going to make Baker better also. I actually think that is the kind of receiver that Callaway can be. because when he catches the ball, which he struggled with at times this year, he had a few drops, but when he catches the ball, he can do things with it. I mean, he's a yak guy. He can stretch the field vertically. But when you give him a slant, we've seen it a couple times this year. Was it 2 or 3 slants that he took to the house?
Yeah.
Like, he's got it.
Yeah. Like 2 back-to-back and fumbled one.
Oh, what? I forgot about that one.
One got called back. And then,
still great play until that point.
Round 5, number 158 overall. It's 158 or 150. I think it's 158. Genard Avery was brought in out of Memphis.
Absolute steal. Now, what'll be interesting to me is, because you got to think we're going to shore up that interior line. They might go with another pass rusher on the outside. At what point do they get where Genard Avery, they're going to start eating into his snaps? Because it's either going to be him or Agba. Let's say they go and get somebody like we talked about. Gerald, what the heck? McCoy.
McCoy, yeah.
Let's say they go get Gerald McCoy, right? Who's going to be able to bring pressure, and he'll stay in on a third down. Okay, now who becomes your end? Is it going to be Agba or is it going to be Avery? I would think, well, at least if it's Greg Williams was choosing Avery over Agba in that position, in my opinion. That's what he would have went with. But it also gives you a chance to rotate those guys. So they're not playing 900 snaps for Larry Ogunjobi and Myles Garrett. Like, that's ridiculous. So somebody's going to start getting cut down snaps there.
6th round, 175 overall was Damian Ratley. 188 was Simeon Thomas.
I forgot about him. Yeah. Damian Ratley's not, I'm talking about Simeon Thomas, but Damian Ratley's still on the roster. He just has a lot of work to put in. He needs to become more nuanced as a receiver in so many different ways, and just more time in practice, that kind of stuff. It might be a year 3 breakout that we see from Ratley. I mean, from athletic wise, he looks like he's got it. But he needs to learn how to shield himself from the defenders, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. April 30th, Randall's 5th-year option was exercised.
Yeah, so what does he come back at? $9 million or something like that? And then the question is, what is he going to cost after that? And do the Browns try to sign him this offseason?
I think you're going to try to extend him now. If you're going to pay him the 9, why not try to extend that and put it into a long-term deal that he'll likely take? And then you'll make that your basic 3-year deal. But you'll try to get him that $9 million cash up front, and then hopefully you can put a cherry on it while we have money.
So when we go to do our roster show, we'll have to put that down. Like, what is a high paid free safety making right now? We'll have to go through that, because I can't believe it's much more over $10 million.
Yeah, I think that's what Tyrann Mathieu. That's sort of what Arizona walked away from, like 9 or 10, wasn't it?
Without I can't remember.
Yeah, it wasn't
for sure, but it seems about to going like it. That's what I would think that would be.
Yeah. We stroll into May here. There was a rookie minicamp. Undrafted free agents were signed on May 4th. Desmond Harrison and Dontrell Hilliard.
What happened to Desmond Harrison? How did he go from starter to not even on active roster for like the last 8 weeks of the season?
I know. Weird, right? Well, I think if he wasn't going to play left tackle, then they just didn't need him on the active.
Who was going to play tackle after him? Like, he really, you want to talk about the rise and fall. Yeah. Like, I've never seen a quicker rise. Remember, if you recall, Brown State Radio was trying to tell us this is the best move since sliced bread. And like, oh, this is the guy. He does it all. You'll see. And I even got me excited. I picked him for like the outbreak player of the year. Yeah, he broke out and then he went missing. He's a missing person at this point. Nobody knows where he's at. It doesn't make sense to me how all of a sudden he just couldn't be on an active roster for the second half of the season at all.
Yeah, and Hilliard was a decent signing. For your 4th running back, that's fine.
Oh yeah. He's nothing wrong with what he did. I mean, he came in and contributed a little bit. What do you have? 9 catches for 105 yards. He didn't run the ball in the year, but he only had 10 targets, 9 catches, 105 yards. And he did some kickoff stuff like that. So contributed on special teams. Nothing wrong with him. So Dontrell Hilliard, you can come back. You got to earn your spot next year, though, sir.
2 weeks later, May 17th, Browns were announced as the Hard Knocks team.
Yes, this was joy for me. I was so happy. I know some people were like, this is bad news. This never goes well. Well,
yeah.
And it didn't go well for Hugh Jackson. We got the inner workings of what a fraud looks like.
That was terrible. Yeah. Hugh really made himself look awful.
Yes. Hey, Baker, if you don't mind me talking to you, or the two coaches are fighting and he's over there like drinking water on the side, not getting involved.
Yeah, it's so weird. 2 days later, Jamar Taylor to Arizona for a 2020 6th round pick.
2020. Oh, wow. Can't wait for that one. Nothing wrong with that. Jamar Taylor, they constantly play him on the outside. Didn't make sense. The guy is a nickel corner, and you keep playing him out of position.
Yeah.
So not really good anyways.
Speaking of Hugh, on June 1st, he embarrasses the entire city of Cleveland and jumps in Lake Erie on a stupid hypothetical bet.
It's fine if you're going to do it. Just wear trunks that fit.
Literally showing your ass to everybody.
Come on.
Michael Kendricks is signed on June 5th.
Oh, man, I forgot about this one. Holy cow. That's just so great about this. That is what's so great about the year in review, because there is, is it every team? There's no way.
Yeah, it's
got to only be the Browns where this kind of shit happens every single year. We just have the craziest stuff happen in Cleveland, man, with our football team. How? So we have a coach as a fraud, and we actually have a guy who committed federal fraud.
Well, yeah, and what I like about the review show is, like, when we talk about, they're announced as the Hard Knocks team, I remember that, and then it takes me sort of back to there, and then what I thought about the team, like who I was excited about for the season, is completely different at the end of the season.
Yeah, but like, if you look at the core players of like New England, they don't typically, like, the guys. Yeah, you're going to change 20 players a year. They're the guys all on the outside. In Cleveland, it's like the main guys are all gone from the beginning of the year. Josh Gordon, Michael Kendricks, we thought was going to be a major contributor. Carlos Hyde, major contributor. Tyrod Taylor was our starting quarterback for 2.5 games. He was named the starter and was the starter for 2.5 freaking games. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. June 7, Duke Johnson gets his extended deal. June 12, Howard Wilson goes to the IR again.
Oh, man. So he's back. I wonder, he tweeted something today, like the process starts here today or something like that. So one of those things where it's like, he's probably, I don't know, tweeting about like some Madden tournament he's starting in, but not, but everybody's like, yeah, he's coming back, baby. He's coming back.
Yeah. I don't think we ever even seen him. He's never made a practice, right? He's always been out before we even started.
Did he he got hurt in, I think he got hurt in the mini camp of his rookie year. Then we haven't seen him since. So he never made it to a actual training camp.
Yeah. 7 days later, Greg Robinson signed. Rod Johnson.
Underrated signing. Unbelievable. But again, I mean, I can't look at Greg Robinson's history and go, well, this is my long-term left tackle. Like, there's just nothing about the history of Greg Robinson that makes me feel like we're okay at that position without any worries. Like, I'm definitely hesitant about going Greg Robinson, left tackle of the future.
I like the idea of bringing in talented dudes that were good in college, good enough to be first-round draft picks, and then putting them in a different setting with a different coach, with a different system, and then maybe something works out. I think you have better hit rates. And if
I don't know how many. I don't know if we're just his third team though. But he started with the Rams. He was with Detroit last year, didn't make it, played terrible, and now he's with us. Played better.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, he was still probably the worst offensive lineman out of the 5.
Well, right. I mean, the mid 3 could be one of the best interior in football.
Yeah, and I would say Hubbard outplayed him in the second half of the season. He just didn't. Hubbard wasn't making a mistake. Like, Greg Robinson was good for 1 or 2 penalties a game.
Yeah.
Not that that's a deal breaker, but what I'm saying is, like, I'm just not 100% sold on this guy. He's got to go and win the job. Oh,
that position needs to be looked at to be upgraded.
Yeah, I don't even know if he has a contract.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, and it's tough.
So he's going to be. He's got to win a contract first.
Yeah.
Then he's got to win a job. And what's his price going to be?
I don't know, because this is a good year to be a left tackle in free agency because there's not many of them.
Well, maybe a honey dick some other team.
Then basically it is the start of our season 3. July 25th, training camp opens. Ricardo Lewis is announced on the IR to start the year.
That's another player I forgot about. Now this would have been. How do you know he didn't have a breakout year this year the way Higgins would have? You're playing with Baker Mayfield. Like you played with Kaiser, okay? You played with Kessler. You played with Clipboard Jesus. You played with RG3. You played with all these guys that can't even hold Baker Mayfield's jock. And then you get a chance, you play with Baker. You're obviously athletically, you're a freak. Your hands are questionable, but we know that you put the work in, you can get better.
Yeah.
Ricardo Lewis probably doesn't have a spot on this roster next year, but if he comes in and works his ass off and shows that improvement that we saw like from Rashard Higgins in year 3, really think about this with Rashard Higgins. If Higgins doesn't start the year, if Mayfield starts as the starter, if Hugh's not a complete jackass and makes Mayfield's a better quarterback because I can actually evaluate talent, and Mayfield is the starting quarterback, does Rashard Higgins have the breakout season? Or is it the fact that he got to practice with Mayfield all through minicamp, all through training camp? Because remember, Baker didn't throw passes to Jarvis Landry in all of training camp.
Right. Yeah.
None. He got 0 first-team reps. But he got to work with Rashard Higgins every single day. And how much of that, when it carries over to when Baker becomes a starter, they already have this whole thing worked out together. They've been practicing with one another. They have they're familiar with one another. Like you can't tell me that wasn't an advantage for Rashard Higgins, and Ricardo Lewis missed out on that.
Oh yeah,
that would have been some big time good experience, and it might have made him show up to be the playmaker that they're sort of hoping that he could be at one point. It's an uphill battle for him though.
Yeah. We also learned on that day that Josh Gordon will not report.
Hey, Matt, he's working through some difficult things. Definitely not drugs. We don't do those. Working through my own problems that you can't even comment on, because who would ever comment on somebody that has mental problems? And if you do that, you're an asshole. So don't even think about it, says Twitter.
Also, completely not surprising that he wasn't showing up for training camp. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're not. Yeah, we already knew that, Josh.
Yeah. You don't even have to.
You remember Hugh? The big fish is coming.
Yeah.
Oh. my Jesus is here. My Savior. The only thing that will save my job. John, please let Jesus back in the door.
If only he could have got AJ McCarron. Would have been different.
Oh my God, I hope he gets that Bengals job.
Also revealed was the stupidest slogan in the fucking country, the hard land of America.
Hard land, baby.
Dumb.
Yeah. Love that.
So
I see they call it the Heartland. So that's the whole time. It's like, oh, the Heartland. Like, that's why and then I was like, Hardland? What the hell does that even mean? What does that even mean?
I don't know. I hated it.
Sponsored by Cialis.
August 5th, Corey Coleman shipped to Buffalo.
Womp, womp, womp. Doesn't want it.
Yeah, doesn't want it. Yeah. August 7th, Hard Knocks premieres. I think Corey, going back to Corey, I think was he returning kicks or something in New York and actually doing okay with the Giants?
Yeah, he returned kicks. He had a couple catches. He didn't do much though.
Yeah.
And he had opportunity. Beckham was out and he still really didn't make the most of his opportunity. He failed. That whole wide receiver group, I mean, outside of Michael Thomas, is just a garbage group. It was a terrible year for wide receivers when you look into that first round. Laquan Treadwell he couldn't separate from me. The bum over in Washington who's hurt. Josh Doxson goes up. He'll make the highlight reel catch and then can't catch. Basically Corey Coleman but taller. I don't even remember. Will Fuller would probably be a good one, but he's hurt.
Yeah, consistently hurt all the time.
Yeah.
2 years in a row.
Tough class.
So Hard Knocks shows up, and that rolls into the preseason. We get a really good look at the inner workings of these games. Thursday night, Cleveland, we won our first preseason game, 20-10.
Super Bowl. Here we come.
We were excited. The next week we played on Friday night. We lost to Buffalo 19-17.
All right, divisional playoffs. Here we come.
And then the next day, Josh Gordon announced his return.
Yes! And Hugh was stoked.
Yeah.
The albatross has landed, or whatever he said.
That's funny. Then we played our third preseason game was Thursday night. Philly came into Cleveland. We beat them 5-0.
Yep, seems about right.
Yeah.
The great Nick Foles couldn't do anything. How about that though? How about Nick Foles?
Yeah, no kidding. Bonkers.
If they go to the Super Bowl, does Carson Wentz deserve to be back on this team?
Yeah, what do you do? Like Foles, you owe him like 20-something million to opt in. I don't know how they're
going back Carson, I imagine.
You almost have to.
He's hurt. It's hurt.
Yeah. They've got a big offseason to find out what's actually wrong with him, because they're saying it's like a back injury, but they're not giving a lot of details on what's...
I thought they said he actually broke his back. He has like a broken bone in his back.
I don't know. I'm sure they're going to want to find out if he's coming back 100%, next year and everything.
I wonder what Grossi's doing with his Hall of Fame bus that he was working on. You scrap it at this point, or you still...
Yeah. Going into the fourth week of the preseason, we have to go play in Detroit.
Freddie Kitchens calls this game.
Freddie Kitchens calls this game. We win
perfection.
35-17.
Oh, wait. We scored 5 against Philly. We come back and score 35 the next week with Freddie Kitchens. That should have been the one note. But if you recall, Detroit was playing all their reserves, and boy, they were terrible. They were really bad. So we were almost like Freddie Kitchens looked better, but Detroit's backups are so terrible, you almost can't. You can't. Not sure how much you can weigh that.
Yeah, the day before that game, Michael Kendricks was released, so he lasted a couple months.
Yep,
and he was let go after his
one federal investigation. The team just throws you out with the garbage.
Leading up to cutdown day on September 1st, Sean Coleman was traded to San Francisco for a 7th-round pick in 2019.
I wonder how he's doing. I'm going to have to look him up because I sort of forgot he was there. Now, he struggled. Miles was getting the better of him, I recall, in practice and stuff. But I thought he played halfway decent the year before when he played right tackle. He was okay. Yeah. As a back, like if he's a backup.
Right. It would have been fine, but it just didn't work on the left side for some reason.
No. And it's fine that they move, like, you go and look, they did fine without him. So you can't hate that move by any means.
Yeah. 1st of September was cut down day. That puts us at the 53-man roster. I'm not going to go through all that bullshit, but we did make some claims. September 6th, the Browns claimed Anthony Zettel.
That was after they cut Nassib and Meter. I still think Meter would have been useful. I mean, obviously, Nassib would have been useful. They decided to go in a different direction. Does it affect the team long term? No, not really. But I feel like you could have got snaps out of Meter as a backup to Ogunjobi, and he gets decent push. I'm surprised. I don't even know if he's on a roster, which is surprising to me because he's a strong son of a bitch, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
NFL doesn't like him.
Yeah. 2 days before. So we're going into week 1 now, September 9th, week 1 against Pittsburgh. 2 days before the game, Desmond Harrison is finally named the starting left tackle.
Out of nowhere. After he started one game in the preseason against Detroit and got Baker basically decapitated, if you recall. On the interception. Do you remember the interception Baker threw? Might have got thrown for a pick 6, and the guy just absolutely annihilated him. Yeah. And because Desmond Harrison tripped over his own feet or something like that. He does move well, though.
Yeah, week 1, Pittsburgh comes to Cleveland. They're up 21-7 at the end of the third quarter. On the way to a win. Garrett gets 2 strip sacks in the fourth quarter.
Roethlisberger in the shotgun. Waits on a first down snap. And he's got it. And it's low. And he's got to pick it up. And he got hit. And the ball's loose again.
The Browns have it.
Joe Schobert recovers it. Garrett knocked it away again. And the Browns defense has their 5th turnover of the day.
Ward had 2 picks on his way to Rookie of the Week. Ben threw 3 picks total. And then Zane Gonzalez had a 43-yard field goal blocked right at the end of OT, 21-21 tie.
Can you believe we gave up Cody Parkey for this guy?
Cody Parkey had a tough day last night. So we go into the next, now they're getting ready for New Orleans.
Yeah.
The day before the game, Josh Gordon is told who will be released on Monday.
He had like one catch against Pittsburgh, didn't he? Something like that. Yeah, he almost did nothing.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, we'll trade. We'll trade him. Somebody will actually give us something. They were shocked. You want this guy? You sure? It's not like, okay, so once he comes back, I don't think it's that he just, like, let's say he tested positive for marijuana. I don't know if that's what I thought they said marijuana and other substances. Okay. So, but if he does, I don't think you just get suspended with one failed test. I think it takes multiple tests, especially with marijuana now.
I don't know.
Like, I mean, that guy, like, he's probably a lot of fun to hang out with.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he is. Yeah.
You just don't want him on your football team. Like, you got to give it up to him, though. He doesn't quit. He's persistent.
Yeah. Crazy.
Shouldn't make fun of mental health.
Rolling into week 2, Cleveland's going to go down to New Orleans, who's favored to win the Super Bowl this year. We are going to lose the game 21-18. Mitchell with 2 forced fumbles and a fumble recovery. Ogunjobi had 2 sacks. This game was interesting. We had a missed extra point.
This is the year of the kicker.
Yeah.
What is happening? Are you telling me we can't find 32 assholes to kick a ball through the goalposts? There's 7 billion people on Earth. We can't find 32.
Yeah, it was 12-3. The Browns were winning. 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. New Orleans scores and gets the 2-point conversion. So they were up 18-12. You remember this? Okay.
Yes.
4th down and 5.
Yes.
Tyrod Taylor drops back and just heaves it.
Yes, as far
Callaway.
as he could throw it. 33 yards. No.
47-yarder to Callaway. 4th and 5. Beautiful play.
Tyrod Taylor, 4th down and 5 out of the shotgun. He's got the snap. He's backpedaling up in the pocket, throwing long and deep for Callaway. He caught it in the end zone. Touchdown! Antonio Callaway. What a catch!
Shades of Kevin Johnson.
Unbelievable! On a 4th down and 5 with 1:16 left. A bomb by Tyrod Taylor, and the rookie Antonio Callaway caught it.
What a catch!
What a catch! We're gonna go up by 1. We're gonna win this game 19-18.
I was forgetting. I'm joking.
Zay Gonzalez misses the extra point.
Oh my god! Oh.
It's all for naught anyway. New Orleans raced down the field and got a field goal with 21 seconds on the clock to win 21-18. Oh, we also had a chance to tie 52-yarder at the end.
Oh,
no good.
The redemption. That would have been the ultimate path to the ultimate road to redemption there. If he hit that one. Whew.
Yeah.
Oh, zany. Kicking in Arizona now.
The next day he was cut.
Yes.
He missed two
I don't know why they waited that long.
and an extra point in the fourth quarter. And then it came out that he may have been hurt, even that he was kicking hurt.
But his feelings.
Yeah. Regardless, Gonzalez went to 2 for 5 on field goals, 3 for 5 on extra points in his 2 games with the Browns. Greg Joseph was signed. He went 17 of 20 for the year, 25 of 29 on extra points.
Yeah, he's somehow better at kicking long field goals than he is from. This makes little sense. These pesky extra points, man. We just can't make them anymore.
So Gonzalez goes out to Arizona. He actually played the last 5 games. He went 7 of 9 and 5 of 6 extra points. So that's how those.
Good for him. I hope he's turning things around.
That same day, Monday, Gordon was traded to New England for a 5th round pick, and I believe New England got back a 7th round.
Yes.
And then later
There's people still mad about that. We didn't get anything for him. He's suspended. It doesn't matter. Could have got more in a 5th.
December 20th. He'll be suspended indefinitely. He may never see the field again.
So at that point, we are 0-1-1.
0-1-1. We got a big Thursday night game, week 3.
And we really liked our team. I went to this Thursday night game, by the way.
September 20th? A day that will live in infamy?
Yes.
Tyrod Taylor goes 4 of 14, 19 yards. He's sacked 3 times. He goes down with a concussion with 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
He was, say what again? 4 of 14.
Of 14 for 19 yards.
Those are Lamar Jackson-like numbers.
Yes. The Jets were up 14-0, courtesy of could have had him hero Isaiah Crowell, who ended up, what did he have with the Jets this year? 685 yards, 6 touchdowns, a 4.8 average.
Yeah, 4.8. He's always had a pretty decent average, so that's not bad. I believe he got hurt, and he hasn't been hurt. I don't think he ever got hurt for the Browns.
Yeah, he played in 13.
He might not even missed a game for the Browns.
13 games.
So yeah, he missed a couple.
Yards. Yeah, I mean that's. I don't know what they paid him, but
no, that's what I expect from Isaiah Crowell.
Yeah,
those numbers right there. He'll get you some long gainers, and then he'll run right up the ass of his guard and get 0 way too often. So it drives me nuts about him.
Yeah.
Terrible inside runner.
So the Browns get the ball back. 1:49 in the second quarter. Baker Mayfield makes his NFL debut to a raucous crowd.
Insane.
Well, Baker Mayfield, here you go. Just the way you like it. Center stage, national TV, down 14-0, a minute 42 in the half. The loudest cheer of the night is happening right now, and number 6 is ready to go.
Chants of Baker, all over. I mean, people were crying.
Great. That would have been a great game to be at. Yeah, he immediately 2 consecutive completions before taking a sack. But it was those first 2 passes, you were like, oh my God, here we go.
Yeah, because
throwing
why?
The ball downfield.
Because he got the ball and he made a decision. It's like, boom, know what I want to do. Boom, throw it out. And you're just like, why can't Tyrod do this? This guy's been in the league like 9 years and he can't figure out how to get the ball out quickly. It was like night and day.
Yeah.
It was so different. Like you saw a guy who knew what he wanted to do with the ball and had like just the utmost amount of confidence, even not only in his ability to get the ball there because you could see the zip, but he had confidence in his receivers to make the catch.
Yeah, it was awesome. Then hit Landry for 16. They kicked a field goal to go up.
Do you remember the Landry catch? And he reached out for the first down. It was like on a 3rd down and 10, and he did like a Spider-Man. Like he catches the ball on the sidelines and then dove out, like went both arms
outstretched,
extended.
Yeah, and
he picked up the first down, and it was like, okay, we're on to something here. Here we go.
Yeah, it was awesome. Third quarter, touchdown Hyde. It was 14-6. The Browns had tacked on a field goal after a Denzel Ward forced fumble and recovery. Hyde scores were to make it 14-2, and that's when we had the Philly special Cleveland style.
Yes. Baker gets the TD.
Jets hit a field goal, 17-14, 9 minutes to go, and then Baker takes him on a 15-play, 75-yard drive, took 7 minutes. Hyde, 1-yard score, 21-17 Cleveland. Schobert picks off a pass, and the stadium goes crazy. It seems like that's basically the game. Our first win in how many days was it? 635 days.
Darnold back on 1st and 10. Steps, fires, has picked off! They got it! Joe Schobert got it! He picked it off at the 43-yard line! Is this how it feels? Is this how it feels to win?
Browns win 21-17. Baker Mayfield will be Rookie of the Week. This is going to become a theme over these weeks. Yes. 17 of 23, 201 yards. Garrett had 2 sacks. A couple days later, Baker Mayfield is named the starter for the season.
Well, it took a couple days.
Yes. Hugh had to want to look at the tape first.
Oh, well, we're going to look at it just to see. I know Tyrod was 4 of 14, but I think a lot of that had to do with the receivers.
Things were looking up there in Cleveland. 10-day break. They had to go out to Oakland. they're going to lose in OT 45-42. Chubb had 3 carries, 105 yards on his way to Rookie of the Week.
What a line. At 100 yards, how many carries did it take? 3? What?
Yeah.
Come again?
Yeah.
3?
63-yarder.
In the backfield, Nick Chubb, the rookie out of Georgia, goes right side, 40, 45, 50. He stumbles a little bit to the 40. He's to the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Nick Chubb! 63 yards!
Boom.
You're not the starter? No. The starter had 37 carries for 38 yards.
That was an interesting game because where was this? 9 drops. Nine drops in that game.
By the Browns?
Yeah. Yep.
Dear God.
And if you remember correctly, too, the Browns had a run play to seal it. Carlos Hyde got the first down, and upon further review, they decided to move the ball back. Browns had to punt, and Oakland scored with 30 seconds to send that one into OT.
No, you know what? I take it. It can't be the year of the kicker. It has to be the year of the ref.
Ooh, wow. They've had a rough year.
It's horrendous what's going on in the NFL.
That's one that you can kind of look back and go, damn, we should have never lost that game, but...
Nope. Well, you're playing the Raiders. You shouldn't have lost. It doesn't matter what happened. You just shouldn't have lost. Now, you remember how bad we had a case of the drops there early in the season like that, and Baker had, and I don't know what they ended up with. They still had a high amount just because they started off so bad, but the receiving corps got a hell of a lot better at catching the ball over the second half of the season than they did in the first half. Yeah,
that was a tough game. Sunday, October 7th, Baltimore's coming to Cleveland. Cleveland's going to, another freaking OT game. Cleveland's going to win 12-9 in OT.
That's going to be the team to beat, man.
Yeah.
You know, Pittsburgh, I mean, Pittsburgh's always going to be there until Roethlisberger's out of there, but that's the team to beat.
Baker was 25 of 43, 342 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, sacked 5 times. If you remember, Denzel Ward, he had a pick and a blocked field goal at the end of half. He will become Rookie of the Week that week, second time.
Flacco.
And then, what's his name, hit a line drive. Greg Joseph hit that line drive in overtime.
This is to win it. Snap is back. Ball down. The kick on the way. Line drive. The kick is good! With 2 seconds left in overtime, the Browns have won it!
He made a game winner, and we were thinking about cutting him.
So, Willie's, do you remember that play?
Yes.
It was a 39-yarder?
Yes.
He hurt his collarbone on that play.
Yes, and he was out for I forgot about Derek Willis.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does his contract look like? He's got to be open, right? Like he's available for anybody.
He's just a rookie. It's on a rookie contract.
Yeah, he's a rookie contract, but how do they, like, he was an undrafted guy. Do they have longer than a 1-year deal?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 years. So what's interesting about that play, one, it was an awesome play, but he hurt his collarbone on that play. Willie's goes to IR. Brashad Perriman was signed.
Oh, that's what it took.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Pep. Lou Gehrig just showed up, my friend. You're done. Rashard's here.
Perriman went on to have a pretty useful season.
Useful? Yes, indeed. Actually, I will give you his numbers. 16 catches. He still only had 16 catches on 25 targets, 340 yards. Now, that's where he makes his money. 21.3 yards per reception. Thank you very much. We can use that all day. And now, he played in 10 games. You put that, he only started, well, I guess it doesn't matter, but he didn't play a ton of snaps, but he did get more usage later in the season. I mean, if you can get 40 catches out of this guy and he can get you 800 yards, like your offense is doing good things there. You're able to get a big play receiver like that. That's huge, man. It's what we were missing. We talked about it. Like, we need a guy that can stretch the field.
Yeah.
We had little confidence in him, but he's showed up to play like the first round talent that he actually is. I mean, he is getting a resurgence in his career. He has gone down the road to redemption, and it's fitting that it has happened for him and Greg Robinson in this case.
Yeah. The next day, Sunday, October 14th, week 6, the Chargers come to Cleveland and beat the shit out of us 38-14. 246 rushing yards for the Chargers. Gordon had 3 touchdowns. Schobert pulled a hammy. Treader had a high ankle sprain in that game. Baker was 22 of 46, 238 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, sacked 5 times.
Oof. Something wasn't working there. The offense was moving the ball, but too many mistakes. It's amazing how much Freddie changed all that.
5 days later, Hyde was traded to Jacksonville for a 2019 fifth-round pick. I believe you already rattled off his Jacksonville stats. Thank you for that.
382 yards, 5 touchdowns.
That's with Browns.
Yep, with stats. The Browns. 5 games.
Yeah, he did nothing in Jacksonville.
Yes.
189 yards, 3.3 average. 4 receptions for 4 yards.
Well, he maintained his average.
Well done. Week 7, I believe this is. Cleveland goes down to Tampa. How about another OT game?
Okay.
All right.
How about it?
But we're going to lose.
No business going to OT in that one again.
Yeah.
More talented team than what they were. Tampa Bay, just absolutely, just one of the worst defenses that the NFL has ever been fielded in the NFL. And we go in and we put up how many points?
23.
Yeah. But it even was worse than that. It seemed worse than that. And then the first half, from what I recall, the first half was terrible. We might have had no point. I don't even know if we scored in the first half.
Yeah, I didn't write down too much about this game. I just have Baker will be Rookie of the Week. 23
in a loss.
34, 215 yards, 2 scores, sacked 5 times.
Ooh, there's a theme.
Garrett had 2 sacks and a forced fumble. Avery recovered that one. Kirksey and Collins both had interceptions. Kirksey had a fumble recovery. We had a lot of turnovers. They turned the ball over a couple times. They miss a 40-yard field goal at the end of regulation. We got lucky on that one. And then in OT, the Browns go 3 and out. Then we get the interception at Tampa Bay 45, and we go 3 and out again.
Terrible.
They get the ball back. There's like 1:50 in OT, and Peppers fumbles the punt.
Oh, God, I remember that one. I was at a party, and the guy said, "Did you see Jabril Peppers lost us the game?" It's like, what happened to the other 4 quarters?
Yeah.
It's just only his fault.
So the
poor guy.
The dude that misses the 40-yarder at the end of the regulation, Catanzaro, knocks down a 59-yard field goal to win that.
Yeah. No. Just like we drew it up. Just exactly how we wanted it to go.
He probably makes that kick one time every 30 tries. Come on.
Only the Browns.
Yeah, so the Browns are sitting at 2-5-1, and then we had to go to Pittsburgh. We're going to lose 33-18, but Baker's only sacked twice.
If you recall, after that game was when Hugh, after the Tampa Bay game, Hugh started throwing people under the bus. He had some very bad remarks about the offense. I need to get more involved. I need to get more. You know what? I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna get my shirt dirty. I'm going to get my hands right in there, and I'm going to work with Todd Haley. We're going to get this thing fixed because I think that's what I need to do. You know why? Because I'm the head coach. That's why. This guy is.
Well, it didn't work, obviously, because we lost.
I didn't get him dirty enough. I need to get it more dirty. My hands are getting dirtier this next week.
Connor had 2 scores, 146 yards on 24 carries. Antonio Brown had 2 touchdowns on 6 receptions of 74 yards. Baker was sacked 5 2 times in that game. That will also be Harrison's last game at left tackle.
Interesting. There seems to be some correlation here.
Monday, October 29. Do you remember where you were? Hugh, done. Haley, done. I remember exactly where I was at.
I don't.
When you texted me. You don't remember?
I don't.
Oh, wow. I thought it's kind of like a 9/11 thing. Like you just know.
Yeah, I remember I was at 9/11. I don't remember where I was when Hugh got fired.
Greg Williams goes to head coach, and Freddie motherfucking Kitchens is promoted to offensive coordinator.
Freddie motherfucking Kitchens in the house. So this was going into week 9, right?
Going into week 9 against Kansas City.
Okay, so Pro Football Focus had they posted some stuff. Oh, of course. Now since I clicked off on it, it's not going to be there. After week 9, The offense was ranked number 2 in the league. Did you see that by a grading aspect?
Wow.
Week 9 on after Freddie took over. So if there's not already enough reason for you to love Freddie, like that's the other part of it. Before that, they were like in the 20s, maybe even 30. It was, and of course I clicked off of it. But so then I started doing some stuff because overall for the whole year, they were 13th. For the whole year, they were 13th. The defense was 27th, but the offense from week 9 until week 17, they were second in the league. I was doing some other stuff going through, and I thought this was interesting. Week 1 through 8, Jarvis Landry had 94 targets. That's 11.8 per game. Almost 12 targets a game is what he was averaging. Week 9 to 17, 55 targets, 6.9 average. So it almost cut him in half of how many targets you gave Jarvis Landry. And I'm not saying like that's the like throwing him the ball. I'm not saying like he's a terrible receiver. What I'm saying is you were treating him as if he's a number 1 guy. You're treating him as, think about it as like a main scorer in the NBA, right? Like a volume shooter. Well, sometimes when you get a volume shooter, the guy loses efficiency, right, and he becomes less efficient and makes your team worse. And that was sort of the case there when you go back and look at that. Like giving Jarvis Landry 12 targets a game was taking away from the rest of the receivers. And when you spread the ball out to these other guys who were showed to be just as good as Jarvis Landry, you started to see a lot more good things happening with this team. And it made a huge difference. That's the way I look at it. 1, they cleared up the things that they were doing with their offensive line. They get Desmond Harrison out there. And 2, they realize Jarvis Landry is not a number 1 receiver, and they start treating him the way they should treat him and give him a normal amount of targets. Like there's nothing wrong with giving Jarvis Landry. That's what he's supposed to be used for. You give him 6-7 targets in a game, fine. You don't want him. He's not Julio Jones. He cannot take on 15 targets a game and get that kind of production. You just can't do it. He's not a volume shooter. He's not LeBron James, right? He's Kyle Korver. He's going to spot up in the corner. You hit him and knock one down when you need him to. But if you're going to give Kyle Korver 30 shots a night, his efficiency is going to go drastically decline, and that's what you get with Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, well put. So, we're going to roll in here to week 9. KC in Cleveland, 37-21. We're going to lose. Mahomes, 23 of 32, 375 yards, 3 scores. He threw 1 interception. Mayfield will be Rookie of the Week, although 29-42, 297, 2 scores, 1 interception, only sacked twice. Duke
getting better.
9 catches on 9 targets, 78 yards, and 2 scores.
Who is that?
Duke. After they were talking about like how do we get Duke involved, then they gave 9 targets.
Oh, that's how. Oh, how do you get him involved? You give him targets. That's how.
Yeah, interesting here. Defensively, we had no Schobert, no Randall. Gaines, EJ Gaines, he got hurt 7 minutes in. Denzel Ward got hurt 8 minutes in. And Kirksey got hurt in the second quarter. Kirksey and Gaines will both go to the IR after this game. And you saw how bad we were defensively in coverage when Schobert was out.
Yes.
Not a bad showing with all those dudes hurt. I mean, what do you expect?
Well, I mean, like I said, you got, when we talked about what Dorsey was doing with a roster, you added a lot of depth there. You didn't add like stud players, but you added guys that were able to step in when somebody goes out to fill a need. That's what has been missing in Cleveland for a long. We have not had depth in Cleveland since 1999, since it came back.
Yeah, right.
And it's a major factor because we know
one person.
There's going to be injuries.
You're done.
What's that?
If one person goes down, you're done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can't have that in the in the NFL. You're going to have injuries, so you have to be able to fill somebody in. Like if we talked about it, if you lose Myles Garrett, then things are going to look a lot different. You're not going to be able to get to the passer as much. And I think they still weren't happy with the amount of pressure they were able to conjure up. They expect more. But if you lose Myles, you're really put at a disadvantage at that point.
November 11, Atlanta comes to town. Browns will improve to 3-6-1. They beat them pretty handily, 28-16. Baker was 17 of 20, 216 yards, 3 scores, no sacks.
Ooh.
And that will become, you're going to hear that often now after that game.
And they have a decent defensive line too.
Yeah, Nick Chubb was named Rookie of the Week. He had 176 yards on 20 carries, 1 touchdown, which was the 92-yard run, longest in Cleveland history.
2nd down and 10, takes the snap, gives it. Chubb runs, he's to the 10, 15, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There goes Chubb, he's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Chubba Lubba Hub! 92 yards!
Carey, forced fumble recovery. Chris Smith had a strip sack. Collins picked that one up. That was like an easy game. I remember that.
Yeah. That's when I was like, these games are going to be boring now if we're just going to whoop everybody all the time.
That took us into the bye week.
Yeah, late bye this year. Remember, we go, he'll probably make it to the bye week.
Yeah,
no,
kind of thought.
Couldn't even make it there.
After that Pittsburgh game. We'll get to see Hugh again. How about this day, November 25th, Cleveland at Cincinnati.
Yes.
35-20. Cleveland wins after, I think we were up 28-0 at half. Yeah, we were. 28-7 at half, sorry. How about another Rookie of the Week, Baker, 1926, 258 yards, 4 touchdowns. How many sacks? 0.
Yes. I like this theme.
That was Baker's 4th Rookie of the Week. The Browns will have 8 Rookie of the Weeks.
Yeah.
No. Mayfield will have 8.
Sounds about right. What? Mayfield at 8? He had half the season, Rookie of the Week?
I think so. No, that was the 4th. Wait, what? I don't understand my notation. I'm sorry.
God.
Oh, I think it's week 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 are all Browns.
Oh, nice.
Maybe, if that's...
This is a good rookie class, man. You look across the NFL, this rookie class was phenomenal. And the fact that Baker and Ward were up there as often as they were, excellent. Were they the only 2, or did Jannard Avery get there one week? Or Nick Chubb? Nick Chubb did.
Baker, Chubb, and Ward, yeah.
Okay.
The Browns scored 4 touchdowns on their first 4 drives in that game, and
it
just made it look crazy easy. Garrett had 1 sack in that game. Randall, Demarius Randall, he had that interception and ran over and gave a little token to Hugh.
That's right. Here's your gift. Merry Christmas, Hugh.
In the shotgun, 2nd and 10. Dalton's got the snap. Back to pass. He's getting pressure. He lobs one, and it's picked off. Demarius Randall has it at the 45-yard line into the Bengals sideline.
Baker had some choice words after the game. I'm going to play those.
Left Cleveland, goes down to Cincinnati. I don't know. It's just somebody that was in our locker room asking for us to play for him and then goes to a different team. We play twice a year. Everybody can have their spin on it, but that's how I feel.
Yes. Sound bites.
Yeah, people took some, I don't know, people were kind of mad about it, but...
Yeah, lame asses. Yeah. People have no fun in their lives. That's the only people that get mad about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and they're going to get more mad at the end of the season. But we're 4-6-1. I mean, we're in the playoff hunt. December 2nd, Cleveland goes to Houston. Boy, we really needed to win that one. It was 23-0 at half. We were losing.
We turned the ball over a lot from what I recall.
Yeah, Baker threw 3 picks.
Yep, that'll do it to you. Can't turn the ball over, Bake.
397 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. How many sacks? 0.
But the other thing was that I think at halftime he had like nothing. His stat line was terrible, and he went for like 300 yards in the second half.
Yeah, it was bonkers the second half. I mean, and when you're down 23-0, you're gonna find a lot of open dudes,
right?
Because they're just giving you space. A week later, Carolina came to town. 26-20, we win. Moved to 5-7-1.
Still in the hunt.
Baker 18 of 22, 238, 1 score. He was sacked once on his way to 5th time Rookie of the Week.
It can't be perfect every week.
Perriman had a 66-yard catch. You remember that one?
Is it what Landry threw?
Yes, yeah.
Landry yes.
That one for 66. And then Landry caught the 51-yarder that seemed impossible to throw. Yeah.
Baker's got the snap. He's up in the pocket. He's looking left. Down the field. Firing. He's going for Landry. Down by the end zone. A tumbling catch for a touchdown.
Greatest throw in NFL history.
That was crazy, yeah.
I don't think that throw's talked about enough. It was 53 yards, I think, in the air, 55 yards in the air.
At least, yeah.
Okay, it couldn't have hit. It's not even possible. An archer could not have put an arrow there where he threw that ball. It doesn't even make sense how good he is. Like, I'm talking about the Olympic archer. I'm talking about the top guy from 55 yards could not put a bullseye.
Boom. That's it.
With it, like where that ball went.
Fucking crazy. We're getting here to the end of the year. That was that put us at 5-7-1 after that win against Carolina, December 15. We have to go to Denver. Browns haven't won in Denver since 1993. We're going to change all
times
that.
Are changing.
17-16 winner.
That's right.
Case Keenum, 31 of 48, 257, no touchdowns, 2 picks.
Oh, that's a Baker Mayfield comp. He's kind of Case Keenum-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was a sophomore in high school.
Philip Lindsay only had 24 yards on 14 carries.
That is, how could we defend the run so well there?
I don't know.
And then be so bad against the Ravens.
Chubb had 20 carries for 100 yards. Keenum was picked off twice by TJ Carey and Jabril Peppers. And then Jabril closed the game with a sack and one of his best showings for the year.
On fourth down, Keenum waits, takes the snap. He bobbles it, stumbles, he got hit, he got sacked! He got sacked! Peppers got him! He got him! Peppers got him! Pour a little pepper on it! The Browns are going to win it!
Yes, his best game of his career as a Cleveland Brown.
3 days later, Pro Bowl was announced. Myles Garrett, congratulations. Denzel Ward, congratulations. I think you get a trip to Hawaii or some shit.
Yeah. Did you see Darius Leonard got all pro but didn't get put into the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, crazy.
The Pro Bowl is a joke, dude.
Right, yeah. Just really any of the stuff that the fans vote for is probably terrible.
Yeah, it's a popularity contest. To sit here and tell me Zeitler and Bitonio don't belong to be like they were as good as it gets.
Yeah, I know, right? That's crazy. December 23rd. How about some Hugh again? Cincinnati comes to Cleveland. Hugh is ignoring the media questions all week.
I'm done with the media tour. I've answered all the questions.
Sellout home crowd. 26-18 winner. I believe it was 16-0 at half. 26-3 late. So.
They're the new Browns.
They just got a couple by the way scores.
People will be like, it's so Bengal-y. Like, all Brownsies going away, and they'll be like, can you believe how Bengal-y that was? Oh my God.
Baker will go 27 of 37, 285 yards, 3 scores, and with a crazy pass to Higgins. He comes across the middle and then dives at the pylon. That one was awesome.
Third down, he needs 4 at the 17-yard line. He's got the snap. He looks. He zings one in. Here comes Higgins across the field. 10, 5, pylon! Is he in? Touchdown! He is in!
And then on Baker's 37th pass, that goes complete to Njoku for the first down to seal the game. And Baker gives him the stare down.
Stare down. The stare. You shouldn't do that. It's not nice.
That makes the Browns 7-1, but I believe at that point
everybody we needed to lose won.
Yeah, and that only left one last game. Cleveland had to go to Baltimore just last week. We lost 26-24. We just covered it. I don't have to go through it.
Yep, we had like 15 missed tackles. I went back and looked at it. Wow. Demarius Randall had 5 missed tackles.
Whoops.
And Schobert had 3. Damn. Those are the leaders. That's what it came down to. We just could not tackle. If you're going to play that team, you have to tackle well. With the style that they played. We were terrible. The Pro Football Focus had us rated as the worst tackling team in the NFL. Our tackling grade for the year average is 60. That's just average. We were 34.8, and it wasn't even close.
Wow.
It's the lowest tackling grade. I'm going to have to ask Costco. Yeah. Next time we get John Costco on here, we'll have to ask him, is that the lowest tackling grade in the history of Pro Football Focus?
36?
34.8. Don't even give us that. Don't even give us that 2 more. They don't deserve it. They were so bad.
That's crazy. Wow. Baker Mayfield set a record. Most touchdown passes by a rookie with 27.
Mayfield shotgun. Baker takes it, looks, fires one in. It is caught inside the end zone. It's a touchdown. It's Callaway.
And it's a rookie record for touchdown passes by a quarterback.
How about that? Baker Mayfield into the record books.
Final record, 7-8-1. That's good for the 17th overall draft pick.
Woo.
And that, sir, is 2018. Wrap.
Hell yeah. Nice job. Yeah, how about are you even a little surprised that he's the greatest quarterback in the history of football? And I'm not just talking about rookies. I'm talking about the greatest single quarterback. The fact that he set that record, that's unbelievable. I wasn't really that surprised. I mean, when we talked about it, we were like, well, he should probably throw around 24, 25 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. That was sort of my prediction at the beginning of the year. He had 14 interceptions, but 28 touchdowns or whatever it was?
27, yeah. 27.
Yep. So Baker on the year. Oh, that's his rushing stats. He had 131 yards rushing. But yeah, 63.8 completion percentage. I mean, we couldn't get a quarterback over 50% completion percentage. It seemed like we were lucky. Like if they hit like 54, 55, we were happy with that. Baker comes in, completes 63.8% compared to Tyrod Taylor's 49.4. 27 touchdowns, 3,725 yards, 7.7 yards per attempt. Getting it done. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. His sack percentage of 4.9% compared to Tyrod's 13.3. Oh, guess what? Make decisions quicker, Tyrod. Okay. Oh, good luck in Jacksonville next year if that's really what you want to go do. How about this? Come back here, sign for cheap. You'll hold up, through your old age. Your body won't be all broken down because you get smacked around in Jacksonville. You can have an easy, cushy job collecting money, being our backup, and we only need you if Baker goes down. I mean, I'm selling it to him right now. What more does John Dorsey need to say than what I just said to him?
That's it. It'd be a good spot for him. No, he's gonna get some money probably.
Money. Think about your health, Tyrod. You've already made money. Think about your grandchildren and being able to play with them out back. No, not in your walker at age 50 trying to chase after your grandchildren because you went to Jacksonville and both your knees got blown out because their line's terrible. No, you can have a nice cushy job behind Baker, hold the clipboard, ask him, you give him some nice answers to questions he might have every once in a while. Show up to work on time, be a good example to the rest of the players. And then when you get the opportunity, somebody goes down, you get to go back in, you make the best of it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. We have anything else?
We do not.
Okay.
That was a long one.
Yeah, my phone's blowing up, so I got to get out of here.
All right. It's been real.
It has been real. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Twitch.tv/STS podcasts. We just did this one live again. You can always follow along. We announce them on Twitch. We announce them on Twitter about 30 seconds ahead of time. So
be prepared. Wait by your phone at all moments.
we need a prime time schedule, but
yeah, we probably could. We need to set something up like that.
This was sort of like last second, so we had to get it in though. Twitter.
Yeah, you can hit us up there on Twitter at STS Podcast. Our email is survivingtheseason@gmail.com. Patreon.com/STS Podcasts. If you want to support the show, thank you very much, everybody there. We got a new patron there. Hey yo,
I can't remember your name. Thank you very much, though. I'll call you out next pod.
Thanks, man.
Awesome, yeah.
Or lady, but we're not sure.
No, it's a dude for sure.
Okay, thanks, man.
His name's right there, but I can't remember. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Hope the new year went well. Here we go. Off-season stuff. Going to be good times. Oh, Shro. Thanks, Shro. He's in the chat, actually.
Ah, what's up?
Yeah. Okay. Shit. It was you. Damn. Thanks, man. Sorry.
He's like, come on, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
Suck.
That's awesome.
Take my money back.
Hashtag Road to Redemption. Greg, tell him what we say.
Keep on surviving.